Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is, man. It always is good to be in your presence and to be able to share information with the community and to have interesting people on this show.
And we have interesting people here today.
Yes, I'm telling you, the sickle cell anemia situation has been going on in our community for years, and so we have another initiative going on.
Yeah.
Super Sunday's coming up again, and we were kind of on the front end of that, I believe, wasn't we?
We were on the front end of it with the Martin Center.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're doing an extraordinary job helping people to get through the difficulties that come with a family member that has sickle cell.
Yeah, yeah. And our church is taking 25 families for Christmas this year with sickle cell anemia, so we're going to...
That's the Olivet Church.
That's the Olivet Church.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we can, what little we have to work with, so God can get the glory.
And speaking of giving honor to whom honor is due, we want to thank our sponsors, Lee Costle and Crawley.
Right.
Fervent Care, Child Care and Christian Academy.
And the Up and Over
That's the
telethon that's coming.
Yeah, December 1st.
Right. December 1st. And guess who? They tell me you're going to be hosting that.
All right, they told me you were going to be hosting.
I guess we're going to be there together.
So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We also want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, WHMB TV 40, and subscribe. You can watch this show once it's over, as well as other shows. A lot of information in there that will be a benefit to you and your family. And please like us on Facebook.
Right. We're there. Make sure you tune in. If you like us on Facebook, you'll like us anywhere. You can find us on media. We'll be there to let everybody know what's going on in the community.
And please continue to watch us on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and our new time on Fridays at 9
o'clock.
We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're going to get right to our guests. We're joined by Sabea Martin.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks for coming.
I'm glad to be here again.
Tell us who you have with you.
I have my dear friend and fellow board member, Sharon Hatcher Hutchison. She is here with us today to bring a different perspective about sickle cell.
Thank you, Sharon, for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes.
And for those folks who may need a refresher, Sabea, tell us what the Martin Center is and what's coming up.
The Martin Center is a facility, an organization that provides support to sickle cell families. We have a food pantry, we do gas cards, we provide referrals. We are there for people and families that have sickle cell and that are living with sickle cell. What we have coming up this year is our second Sickle Cell Super Sunday. We're very excited about that. We did the first one last year when we did the first sickle cell telethon in the state of Indiana ever, and we did that with two gentlemen that look a lot like you two. We're very grateful that we did that together. So this year, October 28th, will be Sickle Cell Super Sunday, and we are asking all of our churches to give support in the manner of a love gift to support our effort.
Yeah.
Yes.
And make those checks out, too.
Make the checks out to the Martin Center Sickle Cell Initiative.
Okay.
The address is 3549 College Avenue, Indianapolis,
Do it right in that camera right there.
Martin Center Sickle Cell Initiative, 3549 North College Avenue, Indianapolis, 46205.
Sabea, tell us the response from last year, from the Super Sunday, the Sickle Cell Super Sunday, as well as the telethon.
The Sickle Cell Super Sunday was very exciting because we were able to bring a lot of churches and a lot of people together on one accord. We were able to lift awareness for sickle cell in the Indianapolis community and around the state because we were able to broadcast. We were excited to start down a new path of bringing more interest and more awareness to sickle cell and helping more families.
Outstanding. And to bring more awareness to what's going on with sickle cell and how people can help, what are some of the things you guys are doing?
We are, at this point, we always have our 5K walk run that happens in July. We have our Sickle Cell Super Sunday, And then we have some other less fund-driven activities, like we have a yearly annual sickle cell conference that happens in April.
It's going to be interesting then.
It is going to be very interesting. What I'm excited about today is that Sharon can tell us how all of those things that we do benefit us. We usually come and we talk about the business of sickle cell.
Right.
We talk about how to have outreach and awareness, but we'd like to hear how what we do actually helps the people that need us the most.
Well, Sharon, talk to us about that.
Well, what Martin Center does actually in our everyday life is that we, as clients of Martin Center, we receive the benefits of just going through life every day, just the circumstances of financial assistance when we need it, because some of us sometimes cannot work and are not employed. And so, therefore, Martin Center can sometimes assist us in getting back on track. A lot of times, even with diversities, with having jobs, there's also places that they can do referrals. Sometimes they get organizations that are hiring, and they can assist us with that information. They also assist in areas when there's a shortage on food, as she said, she says there's a food pantry. So the clients are able to go there and try and help filling in the spots in between times when they're low on food. And they also give counseling. They counsel us from time to time when you're having, issues where you're a little low on, just say you're not feeling well or you don't know where to go for help, and they can assist us that way.
What are some of the qualifications for getting assistance?
Some of the qualifications are, the main one is that you have to have sickle cell in some form. It could be sickle cell trait, it could be actually the actual disease, and it can be some of the other ones like beta thalassemia, some of the others, but you have to have sickle cell or be one of the caretakers of someone that has sickle cell.
And speaking of caretakers, certainly it costs money to be able to do the things that you do. As we understand it, the funding resources have been cut?
Yes, our major funder is revamping the way they allot funds. We typically, sickle cell is near the bottom of the ladder when it comes to receiving public funds. So anyway, so it becomes even more important that we raise our private funds. Not only that, what I enjoy about that as the treasurer for the Martin Center is being able to have options. When you get money from other sources, sometimes that money comes with strings and you have to use it in a certain way for certain things. But when we raise funds for our clients and for the Martin Center on our own, we can decide what to do with those funds and how best to help the people that need the help most. Sharon has been a part of Martin Center for how many years?
I've been a part of Martin Center since the 1980s, so it's been well over 30 years.
A lot of support.
A lot of history there, yes.
You've seen it evolve.
Yes, I have. I have seen a big change.
For the better.
For the better, yes, absolutely.
So more young adults are living longer
Yes.
with sickle cell disease. How is that happening?
Well, we have better medications. We don't have the best. We don't have a cure. We have some hints at a cure. The typical cure that we've had discussed comes from a bone marrow transplant, and those are expensive and they're very involved. We don't have the bone marrow bank deposits that we need to have for our community that would allow us to do bone marrow transplants. But for now, we have, what is the medication that we...
We have hydroxyurea,
Yeah.
which is one of the drugs that they are using now for sickle cell patients, and that is helping to decrease the pain crisis that they're going through.
And then we also are benefiting from better education systems on what to eat, how to eat, and how to maintain a better quality of life while you're living with sickle cell. And then there's early testing. That's always important. And as the sickle cell population ages, we have to start looking at how we can support them differently. If they're going to go into retirement age, we have to look at how to get them to retirement. So it changes the aspect of what we need to do for our clients a great deal.
And how can people help? Certainly the Sickle Cell Super Sundays coming up October 28th. But how else can people, folks who are watching, how else can they help you all out?
Well, we always need volunteers, and you can give us a call at the Martin Center. The number is area code 317-927-5158, and you can always give. You can donate online. We have a spot on our website that you can go and click and make a deposit or make a donation. So we're always asking for help, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Right.
When we need it, and we need to call on our neighbors and friends, our church members, to help support us in this our challenge in our community.
Well, thank you, and we got to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we are continuing to talk about sickle cell disease, and there are folks, Dr. Moore, who are watching. And one of the things that we didn't talk about in the first segment is sickle cell has been termed the black disease.
Right.
But as we understand it affects all ethnicities.
Yes.
But disproportionately,
Yes.
black folks.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, it's generally believed that sickle cell came about as a correction in nature for malaria in Africa. So that's why you can take a map that shows the incidence of sickle cell and overlay it over a map for the incidence of malaria, and you can see that there's a correlation. However, people with sickle cells typically do not get malaria. So you die from malaria, you get very, very sick, and people will say, well, we get sick with sickle cell too, but not the same number of people are dying.
Right.
Now, I did have something interesting happen. I was with someone who was not a person of color, and they said that their daughter had sickle cell trait.
Oh, that's
And I
unusual.
thought that was very unusual.
And Sharon, you have sickle cell.
Yes, I do. I have SS disease, which is actually the actual sickle cell disease itself.
And you have been able to continue living out your life, and you have a grandchild?
Yes, I do. I have a grandchild. I have 2 children, and I have a grandchild. And so, yes, I've been able to live my life out, and I continue to live.
Yeah.
I continue to fight and support for those that are coming after me.
So what would you say to some of the parents who might be watching who have children with sickle cell and how to deal with something like that?
Well, for the parents, I can say to just make sure that you make sure that your children are wise, about their actual disease. Let them know what it entails. They don't have to have limitations, but make sure that they're aware of some of the things that they should be careful of and watch for. Make sure you take them to the doctor regularly. Make sure they get the proper care, proper rest, things like that. Make sure that you stay in contact with the school about their education, because there are times when the children may have to be out of school for long lengths of time. But you have to make sure that you talk with the teachers and the counselors about this thing. And just, keep your kids as comfortable and let them know that they can achieve and do anything that they want to do, just in moderation.
Now, did you spend a lot of time in the hospital growing up, or?
I did. I spent numerous years in the hospital, numerous times. I can remember times that I've spent maybe 6 months at a time.
Really?
In the
hospital, yes. Where I've had to have intercom system in my room just to be able to converse with my class. So I've spent plenty of time. Even in college, I was in and out of the hospital quite often. And so I
With
missed a
crisis
lot with
situations.
having pain crisis, yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Sharon is part of our newly formed Sickle Cell Speakers Bureau.
Okay.
We have formulated a group of sickle cell warriors that can go out and speak to the community so that we can take the information that we have and raise awareness in more places and more for the time. And what I really admire about Sharon is that not only is she a survivor, and we talked about this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but there's also an awareness for cancer in general. Sharon is a survivor of cancer as well.
Wow.
Well, you've come a long way, haven't you?
I have.
Great spirit as well.
Yes,
Well,
she is.
thank you.
And Sharon, you mentioned there were some things that you shouldn't do that could help to prevent crisis and also extend your life. Share some of that with our viewers.
Okay. Well, some of the things that I do personally is, and we should all do as sickle cell clients, is that are warriors. We should make sure that we stay hydrated. Definitely plenty of fluids all the time. And definitely make sure you get plenty of rest. That is an
Main
important
objective,
key.
yeah.
Absolutely. Rest and hydration go hand in hand. When you feel a pain crisis coming on, a lot of times I use heat therapy. A lot of the over-the-counter medications like ibuprofen,
Don't work.
they don't work. But not only that, they're also aiding in the breakdown of your kidneys.
Right.
So these are things that we have to learn to stay away from. But make sure you talk to your doctor and use those over-the-counter, medications in moderation. I use a lot of heat therapy. I do things that I like that relax me. Listening to music, that's one of the things. Reading a book. When I feel these pain crises coming on, that takes you out of that element, puts you somewhere else.
Making jewelry.
Making jewelry. Yeah, that's one of the things that I do. I make jewelry, so
Is that one of your works there?
yes, that is, and this is one of my works also.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Very nice.
So this is something that I do to keep my mind going. Always learning something every day. And just, be comfortable
Don't give
in
in to the
yourself. Don't
disease.
give in to the disease.
Right.
I say this all the time. My motto is, I have sickle cell. Sickle
doesn't
cell
have-
does not have me.
Right.
That's
There
right.
it is. Excellent.
That's right. I have sickle cell and it does not have me.
So, Sabea, do you all have more and more organizations that are expressing interest and trying to help make sure you guys are successful?
We are getting a lot of support from our churches, and we're very happy with that. We have gotten more support from our organizations, women's organizations, NCNW. Of course, the sororities are coming on board with providing help for us and support in more ways than just financial. They also
Volunteerism.
come volunteering as well. Usually when we have our yearly sickle cell 5K walk run, we have more volunteers than we know what to do
How did
with.
it do this year?
It was very well.
Bigger than the year before?
It has grown exponentially every year. We had the largest number of walkers this year at 625.
Wow.
4 years ago, we were at 230.
Wow.
So it has really
Congratulations.
grown. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to what God is going to do and double it next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about Christmas.
Yeah.
And every
Yes,
time we
we
come on
are.
this show, something wonderful happens.
Yeah,
so we
we're gonna
really
do something.
thank
We're
you
gonna-
for that.
We'll be talking to our people, and we're going to do something to help those families. For Christmas, it's part of the history of our church, so we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And we
Thank
thank
you.
you.
And
We
thank you all.
very much.
You've been great guests.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
We
much.
appreciate coming.
You're welcome.
For having
Thanks for
us.
having us.
And thank you for watching. We have the rundown. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, and thank you for watching. I'm your host, James Jackson.
And I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm your executive producer, Faith McKinney.
I want to thank our sponsors, Lee Kostel and Crowley,
Fervent Care Christian Academy.
and the Up and Over campaign, Martin University.
Yes, we're getting ready for it. We want you to participate. throughout the city of Indianapolis so we can make this happen.
December 1st, doors open at noon, and the cameras start rolling at 1 p.m.
That's right, and we're going to do everything we can to help Martin University sustain itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's important. Martin University is really important to our community, to my community, and I want to make sure that we do everything we can to keep it going and so that it can keep our people going, keep the people of Indianapolis going.
And we want to encourage you to come on out there and be with us. There's plenty of seating in the Gatheratorium.
Right.
There at Martin, a beautiful campus, plenty of parking, brand new parking spots.
Very nice, very great, shoe friendly.
Yeah. That's too friendly.
Louboutin shoe friendly.
Okay.
No gravel.
Yeah.
And speaking of Martin University, of course, Martin Center was just with us, Sabea and Sharon.
Right.
The Sickle Cell Super Sunday, October 28th. I want to encourage those of you who have churches, businesses, individuals, please be sure to do all you can to support that effort with Martin University, Martin Center.
Right.
Martin Center, to make sure that people who are dealing with sickle cell have the resources they need.
We want to help, and we want to help families there. You know, some of those families are struggling financially. Martin Center usually gives food, gas vouchers, and gift certificates to help those families. And if you want to go by and donate gas cards or whatever you can do, just stop by, and they'll be ready to take whatever you have to make sure those families are well taken care of.
Yeah, you know, faith is just so important to make sure people have the things they need to be able to survive and deal with things like that.
Absolutely. You never know what people are really going through, what day-to-day needs that they have. And sometimes, you know, when we give too much and they don't want to say anything, but you know, we just don't know what they really need.
Right.
And so Martin Center is a little more tapped in to the sickle cell community and the people who are affected by
They know
it.
exactly what's happening.
And I hate to hear their funding got cut.
Yeah, but it's a lot of organizations that do what they do in other situations are getting cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this reconstruction of disbursement of finances and throughout the community is becoming very rigorous for these people who have literally depended upon it largely.
Yeah.
And so we're going to pray that the community would impress upon themselves to help Martin Center and do whatever we can to help those families. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you next time. God bless you.